President Donald Trump addressed Congress last night and hardly sounded like the Trump the country's gotten used to know. We break down his speech and the tone he struck.
Also, two UNLV students are making their mark on downtown. We'll let you know where to find them, and stay tuned. You're watching Studio G. A little bit faster for me, guys.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome to Studio G. I'm Jamie Poole.
And I'm Jessica Vargas.
For the first time since taking office, President Trump addressed a joint session of Congress last night, striking a presidential tone and outlining his vision for the country. One of the more important points that the President Trump addressed was how he will sign a new travel ban after the order was struck down by an appeals court. Sources familiar with the new plans told CNN on Tuesday that the new travel ban will exclude legal permanent residents and existing visa holders from the ban entirely. Trump spoke on his new system for immigration focused on a merit-based system.
Depresses wages for our poorest workers and puts great pressure on taxpayers. Nations around the world, like Canada, Australia, and many others, have a merit-based immigration system. It's a basic principle that those seeking to enter a country ought to be able to support themselves financially. Yet in America, we do not enforce this rule, straining the very public resources that our poorest citizens rely upon.
As Trump gave his speech, Democrats reacted to his agenda from the seats in the chambers. Some members dressed in all white and repeatedly thumbed down the speech. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer came out after the address to talk about Trump's speech at large.
It's very simple. This is another one of his speeches where he talks like a populist, but the way he's been governing is totally the opposite. He's been governing from the hard right. So let's take trade. He's talked a good game on trade, but when he ran in the campaign, he said, well, he'd declare China a currency manipulator on the first day of his presidency. Well, it's 40 days in. We haven't heard a thing. They're backing off.
The next steps for the president, as he outlined, are overhauling Obamacare and getting an infrastructure plan for the country to the tune of $1 trillion.
At least 3 people are dead and 2 injured after a small plane crashed into a home near Riverside, California. Authorities said the plane was carrying 5 people total. It was heading to San Jose from Los Angeles when the plane crashed into a house, hit another house, and fire engulfed it, a third. Neighborhood surveillance video shows terrified residents trying to help the victims from the wreckage. Officials say luckily no one was at home at the time of the crash and the residents are safe. A witness describes a terrifying event he saw.
I ran around the corner to see what happened. I looked. As soon as I hit that corner, I see 3 houses down. The house was on fire in front of the garage. There's just scrap metal everywhere. I don't know what happened.
Emergency crews worked to treat one of the victims who was found in the bedroom of the home with 3rd-degree burns covering 90% of his body. The owner of the restaurant at the airport recalls a strange sight before the plane took off.
Broke. One lady was eating in that number 1 table there, and I told her, did you see that aeroplane? They are trying to start the aeroplane since early, I told her. Finally, the aeroplane started in the number 3 times. When the aeroplane started, the back of the aeroplane went like this.
The passengers were said to be headed home from cheerleading competition at Disneyland. At this time, it is unclear as to why the plane crashed. The National Transportation Safety Board will be investigating, but it could take up to 18 months for the case to be found.
A flurry of bomb threats on Jewish centers and schools hit home this week when a bomb threat was called into a Jewish center in southern Nevada. James Schaefer has the story.
In the twilight hours of the day, police came to the scene to bring security and reason to the bomb threats on a local Jewish center. A wave of bomb threats in the Las Vegas Valley had left residents on edge. FBI investigators believe the threats on the Jewish center and schools were a coordinated attack perpetrated using spoofing technology. One passerby near the Jewish center gave his comments on Channel 13 on the site.
I come out from work and I see that a lot of police cars. I don't know what it's going to take to bring all of us together as a community.
The wave of threats didn't just persist within the valley, but rather around the country. One of the threats in Miami, Florida, at a Jewish school, gave students a shock, but some students rationalized the world of threats they live in.
I know the risk of going to a Jewish school. Like, there is going to be stuff that happens. It was terrifying, but you just have to stay hopeful.
As investigators are determining the tools used for the threats, the president has since called out the threats and pressured his support for those in the Jewish community. James Schaefer, Studio G.
The Jewish fraternity Alpha Epsilon Pi will be marching against anti-Semitism on March 6th. The march will take place from the fraternity's house to Pita Plaza, according to an interview done by the UNLV Scarlet and Gray Free Press with CSUN Public Relations Administrator Fabian Donata. We'll have footage of the march on next week's show.
Coming up, we take a look at what's going on around the valley. We'll be right back.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course! This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own, and that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Name is the Rebel and Revolt show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and then we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk, and I run the Rebel and Revolt show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
Welcome back to Studio G. Let's take a look at some of the biggest headlines in the Valley. A 19-year-old male was arrested in connection with a 3-vehicle crash that killed one person and left another in critical condition. Cesar Medina was taken into custody for DUI, resulting in death after running a red light at South Jones Boulevard and West Russell Road at 10:45 p.m. Mendoza had 3 other passengers in the vehicle, where one died and another is in critical condition. This is the 21st traffic-related fatality in 2017.
A man and a woman have been charged with the malicious torture and killing of a cat on Thursday. The two targeted their roommate's cat because they believed it was possessed by demons. They stabbed it twice, kicked it against the wall, and poured a mixture of hot sauce and bleach down its throat and its nose and eyes before the two pinned the cat to the wall with a sword and left it to bleed to death, according to the arrest reports.
The Nevada economy is in better shape than previously reported. A previous report stated that Nevada gained 32,000 jobs and had an unemployment rate of 5.7%. After revisiting data, it was revealed that the state actually created 41,000 jobs and had an unemployment rate of 5.7%. This is an 8% decrease from the initial unemployment rate of 2010.
Local NASCAR fans celebrated a big victory after Las Vegas native won his first Daytona 500 on Sunday. Las Vegas native Kurt Busch secured his first day Tone of victory after leading the final lap. He passed another driver whose car was out of gas in order to take the win.
Daytona will challenge you mentally and emotionally. And for me, all the stuff that was getting thrown at us today, our car still had speed, and I just kept digging. It's a matter of having the right strategy, and you believe in your crew chief. It's a matter of having the right engine, and I believed in Ford. And then there's fate that helps you navigate through some of these wrecks. I mean, the circumstances that happen out on the track and avoiding wrecks, you just have to be lucky. And I was thankful that I was able to slide through a lot of these wrecks and be in position at the end.
Congratulations, Kurt Busch, from all of us here at Studio G.
Makers and Finders is a coffee shop located in the Arts District of downtown Las Vegas, owned and operated by Josh Molina, a UNLV alumni, and Valerie Varela, a current UNLV student. Alyssa Truesdale caught up with Valerie to talk about what it's like to be a young business owner.
I'm standing out in front of Makers and Finders, where I spoke with Valerie Varela, business owner and UNLV student, who told us what it was like to open her own business and what it takes to make a perfect cup of coffee. I talked to Valerie about how it feels to be a business owner and what it was like opening up her own coffee shop. She also discussed where she got her experience from and the difference between working at and owning a business.
I don't think that I feel it as much as people expect me to. Because when we were going through all the opening of it, for me, I had been involved in opening other restaurants in the past, all mom and pop, so all small businesses. So they take all the help they can get, and they just, you dive right into all the work. And so I was already kind of involved in all those different things with other restaurants, and so kind of doing it for myself, there's a lot more at stake. I felt a lot more pressure, but work-wise, it's, it was kind of going through those same typical motions, and so I'm very proud of it.
I brewed up a conversation about what it takes to make the perfect cup of Makers and Finders coffee, and had Valerie explain the process of selecting their brewer and why they chose to go with the one they did.
We sampled a lot of different roasters across the country. I just for weeks spent, calling people, and they would send us samples and we'd taste them, and then we found a roaster out in Marfa, Texas. We went to go visit them, and we love their coffee, but they also give a lot of the money back to the community and to the farms that they work with in the other countries. So we really like that side of them as well. So we went with them.
I caught up with frequent customer Kelsey Arias and asked her what her favorite drink is at Makers and Finders.
Probably a vanilla latte, because that's probably my basic drink that I go to for any coffee shop, and it gives me a good feel of whether or not I'll want to come back depending on how much I loved it. And then that was the drink I got when I came here for the first time, and I was like, this is probably one of the best vanilla lattes in the world.
It's great to see young UNLV students doing big things. I might just have to go try that vanilla latte before midterms and support a local business.
Sunny skies seems to be the forecast for the rest of the week. Isn't that right, Taimi?
That is right, and welcome to the weather today. We have beautiful temperature, 55 degrees. The highest is 62, the lowest 41. But unfortunately, part of the Midwest of the country is suffering, as you can see here in the picture, a lot of damages, houses, and cars. About 24 unconfirmed tornadoes were reported across 4 states. This according to the National Weather Services. Some of the states affected are Ohio, Tennessee, Missouri, and many more. This could be hitting also more states towards the east side of the country. But coming back to Vegas, the 5 days that we will be having looks very beautiful, sunny every single day up until Monday. The highest temperature is 71 degrees, the lowest 43 degrees, which will be tomorrow. Here, let's look at the part of the city. The valley is looking great as well. 55 degrees in most of the parts here, most of the city here and the towns. The lowest 50 degrees in Centennial and Summerlin. Here at UNLV, We have 55 as well, wind speed 10 miles per hour. But tonight, the temperature will drop to 42 degrees, wind speed at 5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the rest of the country. As I said, the Midwest is suffering right now, as you can see. But here, the west side of the country, Los Angeles, 75 degrees, Salt Lake City, 40 degrees. And here in Las Vegas, do not worry about it because it's going to be beautiful. That's all for your weather forecast for today. When we come back, we are going to sit with Alpha Psi Rho and find out what those young gentlemen have in store for UNLV. We'll be right back.
Get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Last promo.
And get more people into the nutrition center, get them more educated, then they can learn what ways to prevent chronic diseases and to become healthier individuals. All classes are held in BHS building, Bigelow Health Sciences, room 212, and the times vary, but you could always check them at the UNLV calendar or UNLV Today, and all the classes, times, and descriptions are available there.
Greek life is popular at UNLV. Sisterhood and brotherhood plays a huge role. One of the fraternities on campus is called Alpha Psi Rho. They're starting off the year with new direction. Kayleen Talens has a story.
Has a new president this year, and he is by far the youngest leader to be in charge of this fraternity. Alpha Psi Rho is the first Asian Pacific Islander fraternity that was established in 2011 at UNLV. They live by 4 pillars: brotherhood, academics, prosperity, and strength. Adrian Flores, the new president of Alpha Psi Rho, shares what he is most excited about for this year.
When I look at being president, it's like, okay, I have 1 year to make a difference. I have 1 year to really try and make an impact on not only me, but future members to come into this organization. So what I'm excited about is just to see and get everyone on the same page and see where we can take this thing.
Adrian Flores has 3 set goals he wants to accomplish as a team, and that is to have equal mindsets, be successful, and proudly represent the fraternity's letters.
I want to get everybody on the same page so, we all know what we're striving. We all know what goal we're trying to achieve. So I think that's what I have planned. And once we figure out that goal we want to achieve, which is just becoming more successful or becoming more known on campus and becoming more social with everybody so everyone gets to know what these letters represent.
Adrian Flores saw that filling in the position of a president was a great opportunity. Ever since he joined, it was a goal of his to become a leader.
Ever since the beginning, ever since I crossed into this fraternity, I set the mindset that I wanted to be president. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just know that I wanted to do it. And no matter what it took, I was just going to do it. I did the grunt work in the beginning. I did everything. I was here since day one. And, now being president with the whole active body voting for me and having my back, it makes me excited because now I can, try new things, and I'm not scared to fail because I know that if something doesn't work, then I can always try something else.
This fraternity plans on heading towards an exciting and bright future. For Studio G, I'm Kayleen Talens.
This fraternity is organizing a variety show that will be on April 4th to help fundraise for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Foundation. Here to elaborate on Alpha Psi Rho's plans is the man himself. Thanks for joining us today, Adrian.
Thank you for having me.
So after watching that story, it's pretty exciting that you're the first and only Asian Pacific Islander fraternity on campus. How does it feel to be part of that organization?
Yes, it's great. It feels great to be a part of that organization because I know while we have that Asian Pacific Islander label, we still are multicultural. So, I mean, you don't have to be. Everyone is always welcome, and that's what we want to preach. It's nice to be on campus, and it's just nice to try new things with the people, the quality people that we have.
And what made you choose Alpha Psi Rho?
They just felt different. I couldn't explain it into words, but you know, when you hang out with certain people, certain individuals, you know, you can tell, you know, where like something is kind of standoffish as opposed to something that's genuine. And, you know, not to just talk bad about anybody, but with them, it felt genuine. And so that's why I continued, and that's why I wanted to be a part of them.
And is that also why you wanted to become president? What made you want to choose to be president? It's kind of a big role.
Yeah, and at first, you know, I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I think, I just think it's something exciting for me. It's something, you know, you don't grow by not challenging yourself. So I saw this as an opportunity, as a challenge, and I saw this, you know, as a chance for me to grow and for us to grow. So I took it. I took a leap of faith.
And then seeing that as well, you said that you have 1 year to make a difference, 1 year to make a change. Is that how all fraternities work? Do you only get to be president for 1 year, or could you continue to be so if you choose to?
To be honest, I'm not sure. But with us, you do have one term, or, you know, the most you can do is 1 whole year for us. And then after that, it's time for you to pass it on.
And so why did you choose to do it as a junior and not next year when you're a senior?
That's just the way, I guess, elections lined up for me. I mean, I could have waited until next year, but everything just lined up perfectly, and it just took on the calendar year, and that's just how I'm going to approach it.
And what are you personally getting out of this fraternity? What are you bringing to it, not only just as a president, but as a member of the organization?
So what am I getting?
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot. I'm getting, you know, I'm meeting people that I never thought I would have met, you know, all the way in California to Arizona to here, just establishing more connections. But more than that, it's just building a family that goes past college, you know, goes past graduation and goes something to where people are gonna be at your wedding, people are gonna be at your funeral. That kind of bond is established within the fraternity, and that's what I got out of it.
And we know one of your biggest mottos is the brotherhood, and so just kind of what you mentioned, having people at your wedding, having people at your funeral. How are you really establishing that relationship within your own brothers? Like how?
Oh, it's great, because one thing you realize is, you know, it's not all about yourself. So I'll see people, they have that look on their face, and I'll take everybody aside, you know, like, oh, what's wrong? Like, what do you need? Like, let's go out to eat. You know, I'll treat you out. You know, whatever it is that they need, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I'm there for them, and just establish more of a personal connection with each and every one of them so that we can all be unified.
And is that more of as your role as a president, or is that just something you would do regardless of what position you took?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've always done, regardless of what position I took, but now being president, I feel like maybe it means more to them, maybe it doesn't, but I'm just glad I can be there for them, and I'm glad that I can help everybody out.
And have you kind of climbed the ladder? Did you start at like a lower position in the fraternity, or did you?
Yeah, definitely. I was all like, I think I was 4 positions at once during the beginning of my active status as a fraternity member. I was setting up socials, I was setting up philanthropies, I was setting up the tents so we could table, I was setting up fundraisers, and I was doing all that at the same time. I was at every single thing. So yeah, definitely I feel like I've climbed the ladder up to where I am.
All right, well, it sounds like you're pretty busy. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today, Adrian. We'll be on the lookout for Alpha Psi Rho's future events. After the break, we meet a UNLV senior who's using her creativity to help scholars accomplish their academic endeavors and get smothered in puppy kisses for a children's hospital. Stay tuned.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
My goal is to be an on-air personality, and that's what my career is. It feels really incredible because I've been wanting to do something like this for my whole entire life since I was little.
I mean, it's an opportunity to express myself, get my voice out in public, and get heard for things that I feel strongly about.
This station helped me out a lot, gave me a lot of information I didn't know about a radio station in general.
It was really easy to get a show here. I took the classes and did the shadowing. They give you a lot of freedom to do what you like, and I feel like there's a lot of support in places you can get answers to.
It's just an incredible experience because I could take what I learned here and I could turn it into something more.
One UNLV senior may be on her way out, but that's not before she leaves something very special behind on campus. Ashley Renan has the story.
When Jennifer Hurtado started her last semester here at UNLV in January, she set out to make a difference.
So, being my last semester here at UNLV, I wanted to leave kind of like, I guess you can call it a legacy here on campus. My soap brand is Chingona Soaps. Half of the proceeds of Chingona Soaps does benefit Soaps for Scholars. That's what I call the scholarship.
Hurtado, a full-time worker and full-time student, believes going the extra mile for UNLV's undocumented students is critical.
It's really important for us and for UNLV to recognize that we have a large undocumented population here. There's not many resources, and that's exactly why the UNLV Undocu Network is pushing to bring these resources to campus. It's more than just for Latino students. Let me make that a point. We have undocumented students from all cultural backgrounds. Then you have these students that have to work full-time to go to school, maybe half-time because that's all they can afford. The soaps I make are all handmade by me. I just make whatever comes to mind. Like this one here is like a chai tea cinnamon oat bar. I add just additives and things here and there, so it looks really pretty. I'm kind of just collecting money and just seeing where it goes right now. So far it's great. I've gotten a lot of great feedback. So far it's been a hit.
Hurtado credits her sense of altruism to her upbringing.
I grew up in El Paso, Texas. It's a very, very Hispanic, Latino town. Growing up and seeing my classmates, my friends struggle that are undocumented. To be able to get an education, I think everybody deserves that.
Hurtado graduates in May, but is planning on keeping Soaps for Scholars around for a while. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Ashley Renan.
After graduation, Hurtado plans to do a lot of two things, traveling and reading. To learn more about Soaps for Scholars, you can visit her page on Facebook at Chingona Soaps, that's Chingona with an X.
Last week, fraternity Tau Kappa Epsilon hosted Pooch Smooch outside of the Student Union. Members brought their pets on campus to help raise awareness for a national charity. Let's take a look.
It was Valentine's Day recently. Maybe it didn't go as you wanted. Maybe you didn't get enough kisses. So we brought out our dogs because puppy kisses make everything better.
You may have seen some dogs walking around the SU last week. This fraternity says this was all done for a good cause.
Basically, it just raises awareness for St. Jude, the cause for the children with suffering and or battling cancer. We want to help them as much as we can, so more awareness is going to end up helping us really get our mission accomplished.
Write the little Valentine, we give them out, and then we're going to go take them to the kids.
Trying to fill out all of the Valentine's cards that we got. I think we got 2 boxes of like 200, so we're trying to send out at least 400 Valentines.
Here is Hunley. He is a little Chewini. He is a little older than a year.
Say hi, Jax. Oh, good. We also met 7-year-old Jackson, who was definitely appreciating the extra attention.
So we all kind of came to the conclusion that we have dogs, like everybody loves dogs, why would we not bring dogs out here?
Actually really nice just because they don't get to socialize too much at home. And so just being able to let them roam around, have fun, just be free with all the other dogs, and it's like a little dog park except not so restricted.
Dogs, they're all very friendly, so we decided to bring them through and make sure that everybody could get a chance to feel the love. Like it is a touch of love event, so I think that the dog thing was probably a really good choice on our part.
Pooch Smooch was part of the fraternity's week-long Touch of Love event, which helped raise money and awareness for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Tau Kappa Epsilon says that they plan to host more events like this in the future.
Thank you for watching Studio G. Be sure to follow us on social media at UNLV Studio. I'm Jamie Poole.
And I'm Jessica Vargas. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Studio G.